What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning John Fury. John Fury says, does Joshua ever beat Tyson or Wilder? Definitely not. This is what he had to say. He said, AJ didn't do anything wrong. You can only do what you can do in boxing. He just hasn't got the desire or will, not a quarter of it, of these two men like Wilder or his son. Honestly, he's been a good champion, but does he ever beat these two men? Definitely not, because he's not a one-punch knockout artist like Wilder. Let me counterpunch. I listen to a lot of people, and I view what they say, and I pay attention. And he said he's definitely not a one-punch out knockout artist, okay, like Wilder. But he didn't say his son was. Because we know Tyson Fury's not a one-punch knockout artist. And I think one thing will beat Tyson Fury. It's not one punch. It will be constant aggression with someone with dedicated skill. Okay? People kill me with measuring a guy that has never fought another guy, and they fight another opponent, and then based on what their performance was, they mirror that, or they automatically assume that that's how that's going to go with this other opponent. Like someone like John Fury. I like John. He's really transparent. He says what's on his mind, but he's not really thinking. Okay, Otto Wallin gave Tyson Fury more problems than Deontay Wilder in the last two fights. Maybe not in the last two fights. Definitely the second fight, right? Because, Wilder did get knocked. He did hurt Tyson Fury with that cannon he has, right? And Otto Wallin's not a knockout artist either. He's not a dedicated dude, but he was durable. He was 6'6" or 6'5". He was a southpaw. He came forward, and he gave Tyson Fury problems. Did Tyson Fury beat Otto Wallin? Yes, he did. But that didn't mean he wasn't a worthy opponent, even though he was handpicked, let's be real. But sometimes cherry picks, hand picks go wrong. So we can look at that guy and say, okay, well, he's been in there with Tyson Fury. So it would be better to see what type of style could give Tyson Fury problems instead of Deontay Wilder style that has nothing to do with Anthony Joshua's. Anthony Joshua fights nothing like Wilder. Not even a little bit. Wilder gets desperate. He's dangerous because he's only going for one thing, a knockout. But that makes him the same vulnerable, okay? Because people see how limited he is, okay? If they, if they're coherent enough. But him saying that his son will beat Anthony Joshua or Wilder because Tyson Fury beat Anthony Joshua, what he's doing is he's putting these two guys on a pedestal because they beat the shit out of each other. And guys like Alexander Usyk is thinking like, I really didn't even like that because they didn't really show much skill. They made a lot of mistakes, okay? Anybody with a ring IQ, boxing IQ, would know that, like Usyk did. It was a fight. Was it entertaining? Hell yeah, it was entertaining. Could it be fight of the year? Hell yeah, it could be fight of the year. But does it mean that these guys, based on them fighting each other, shows their true potential? No and no. No for Deontay Wilder and no for Tyson Fury. Why? Because Tyson Fury didn't look the best he ever looked. So that's why I agree with Eddie. Like, okay, well, why is this guy, bumping up on the pound for pound and beating the same guy? And Deontay Wilder, we know he looks better. He looked better in the Ortiz fight, both of them. I think he came in too heavy. That's what made him so slouchy, because he had to carry around all this muscle that he's not used to carrying around. So those things, those factors, and these two guys coming together on top of one guy accusing the other guy of cheating, the other guy saying, how dare you cheat me, I'm going to bust your face, and these guys have that. That's what you saw. So you had half emotion, half aggression, all heart between both fighters. But what does that have to do with skill? And I know what he's trying to say. Well, does Anthony Joshua have any heart? Yeah, he has heart. Did he go down? Did he quit? No, he didn't quit. Brothers, was he tired? Probably so. But guess what? None of those guys have been in there with Alexander Usyk either. Okay, so we have to call it like we see it. So you rating fighters from them two fighting each other, which they've been doing for 3 freaking years already, right? And then they all of a sudden are better than 2 other guys that none of those guys fought. That makes absolutely, positively no sense at all. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on John Fury saying that Anthony Joshua will never beat Deontay Wilder or his son, Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.